Okay, welcome back to members of 121 Community Church in Grapevine, Texas. Our ongoing study in human nature and its remaking by W.E. Hocking. We're going to take a look at pages 45 to 87. We're actually going to pick up chapters 8 through 12, so we'll pick up a pretty good amount of content here. But it'll get us through the realm of the sensate and transitioning into reason. So it will take us a pretty good way into the project. Let's begin with block 1. Take a look at the evolution of instinct. And Hocking begins with the instinct of passions. Instinct manifests itself objectively as a trend of livelihood, but usually at this level with an interest in objects coupled with a very insistent behavior. But eventually the self will surrender this base instinct in favor of the intellect. The initial intellect is really a problem-solving instinct. So from instinctive passions, we move on to the problem-solving instinct. And that begins with the impetus of curiosity. Self then posits a hypothesis and invents tools to resolve problem. It becomes a first force for the building of mind. It becomes a nucleus for later developing values. And so Hocking tells us we can gather three aspects here, even within the realm of the sensate and within the instincts. There are three aspects we need to consider concerning how they function as a nucleus for values. There's a balance of instincts. A balance of powers distinguishes the self. No one impulse is dominant. Instincts exist within a field of adjustment. They're always adjusting to each other. There's variety of pattern, and that means the pattern of an external stimulus, and then an adjustment, and then a response. Adjustments take place in the nervous system, and that becomes the nucleus of value. There is a coalescence of instincts. They satisfy each other. There are no clear-cut divisions between instincts. They are never wholly distinct one from another. And so Hocking tells us, even at the level of the sensate, just before it emerges into the rational, you develop factual causal units. Take a look at note 4. Problem solving creates the emergence of these factual causal units. Patterned instincts become units of behavior that are used in combination. It's the first emergence of the input from analysis of intellect, because it unfolds new possibilities available to the self for problem solving. And this leads the self to form true instincts, refined instincts. Still at the level of a particularity, but still closer to moving into the realm of reason. And we do direct these true instincts toward a general end. In other words, we are forming generalizations, not notions of the truth yet, but we are forming things gathered together according to type, and we are forming generalizations of a particularity. So these are the true instincts. The order of behavior units is not fixed, says Hocking. Within the self there is a tendency toward balance and adjustment. Every true instinct is pugnacious or aggressive to actualize itself, and that creates second-order instincts, or the controlling instincts that guide the other instincts. So we actually get this reflective input from the intellect, and we actually develop a second order of controlling instincts to help with that balance, to keep them all in a harmonious balance. So that becomes critically important for this first realm of the sensate in block 1. Let's take a look at our little inserted diagram that I get. I got a diagram inside a diagram here, but I want you to look at that insert because it gives us a good look at the realm of the sensate for Hocking. The self has instincts of passions that basically is involved in a play with objects, but it also has problem-solving instincts that will posit a hypothesis for problem-solving and develop intellectual tools. That leads to the self developing a balance of instincts within a field of adjustment and creating units of behavior that combine instinct with a little bit of reflective help from intellect, preparing us to transition to the realm of the rational. So it gives us a great preparation, and you notice in that inserted diagram, if you look at 4, the second order true instincts, we develop controlling instincts that kind of control the way we form all of these factual units that eventually are going to move into the rational and be reconciled to become notions of the true. But in the realm of the sensate, we're still at that level of just factual particularities. But we are going to transition. So we'll take a look at block 2. We're going to transition from instinct, the sensate instincts, to social consciousness. And that's going to be the mediation that will lead us into the realm of the rational and gaining the notions of the true. So let's look at block 2. We begin with curiosity. Curiosity is a native character trait of humanity. We innately seek to examine and test our suppositions, those factual particularities. Activity of intellect enters the realm of instinct through curiosity. Curiosity defines the questions that will lead us into reason and into interpretation. So the exercise of thought will become the underlying craving for action. Curiosity will lead into craving. So under craving, note 2, reason will move us beyond the particularity of instinct. Curiosity is stimulated by that which is novel, the new that is visible to us, that which is outside grouping things together. And curiosity is also stimulated by signs of concealment. This fuels our craving, and craving leads to interpretation. And interpretation, says Hocking, is always social in nature. It is always based on the filter of being social in nature. So questioning curiosity and interpretive craving equals the emergence of social consciousness. So in this final phase along the sensate level, we do reach social consciousness. It does emerge. So let's take a look at that. Let's take a look at block 2, note 3. Questioning stimulus and interpretive response becomes central to the self. This becomes our central condition. It is the self's necessary interest for facing world and for facing self-identity. It is that perception that combines sensation with the emergence of rational thought. We don't really form system at this stage, but we see the emergence of a higher order rhythm, says Hocking. It's more of a evidence of the presence of some kind of rhythm or harmony between our facts that encloses our particular facts. Now, under the higher order, that which we have divided into particularities is now in need of recomposition. We seek the forms of higher perception we desire to transition into acquiring the notions of the true. We are aware of this rhythm or this harmony, and social consciousness becomes a family-type harmony within the mind of the self. And that's going to lead us to that higher order of acquiring the Eidos-Ideas. From particular facts, we're going to move on to acquiring the Eidos-Ideas. So if we take a look at block 3, the acquisition of Eidos-Ideas, energia. We've already discussed energia, but that means actualization. What's interesting about Hocking is he says there's an initial actualization stage before we get into the further development of system and positing and all of that. There's an actualization stage leaving the realm of the sensate and entering the realm of the rational. He says there's a realm of energia actualization right there because we are actualizing acquisition of the word. To use a theological concept, we are reaching the energia actualization of acquiring Eidos-Ideas, which are concepts coupled with their precise definitions. Remember, Hocking's all about precise definition. And so, we're entering into kind of a first area of energia. And we begin with energia as feeling. The transformation from interpretive craving into energia leads to our first realm of satisfaction through community and dialogue. Energia includes both substance and shadow, content and signification. We begin with a preliminary hypothesis of coherence that will bring the facts together. Eidos-Ideas begin as feeling that accompanies knowledge, but check out Hocking's definition of feeling. It's the making up of one's mind, so it's decision. It's a feeling of a need for decision, a decision to reach the Eidos-Ideas. So we enter into this energia as logic, which is the acquiring of the word. And I've inserted the theological concept there because I think it fits. I think it fits precisely right here. I mean, I know we're looking at philosophy, but this would theologically fit. Energia as logic equals the acquiring of the word. We acquire a sensitivity to the ideal concerns of society. The human will emerges as that which seeks control of the real. And we know later that the real is going to be the realm of positing, but it's emerging now in this first area of energia. The human will emerges as that which seeks control of the real. Central instincts transition to reasonings about ideas. And here's your key. Syllogism takes place for the first time as suppositions are reconciled through communal dialogue. Psychology becomes permeated by logic. Right here is where Hocking gives us much more than Borden Parker Bound gave us, because he takes Boston personalism and within Harvard personalism, he introduces the notion of the word or concepts coupled with precise definition. That makes a big difference. It makes a huge difference because it leads to syllogism at the level of communal dialogue. So energia as feeling, take a look at 3.3, energia as feeling and energia as logic will reach the actualization and the acquisition of Eidos-Ideas. We enter the political realm. We form ideas as signs. They always take on a sign-like character. We thematically filter them through the lens of justice, which is cooperative community. Our task is to eventually have these Eidos-Ideas recognized and applied to the concrete. So he is already preparing us in a way that no one else did. He's preparing us for that transition, first of all, to the de Kunta threshold of raising suppositions to Eidos-Ideas, but then to system and then to the realm of positing, where we seek to control the real and to participate in that control of the real. So a much better use of definition here by Hocking. And I want just to say a few words here about the big picture, okay? We have studied Edgar Sheffield Brightman. We have studied Borden Parker Bown. And now we're looking at W.E. Hocking. What you need to see in the big picture is this. Bown and Hocking came first. Brightman came later. But the way we need to perceive this is that the personalism from Boston in Borden Parker Bown was taken by Brightman, but then he added a personalism from Harvard in W.E. Hocking and took on this importance of word and definition. And then Edgar Sheffield Brightman developed his personalism, which I've already told you in the past lessons, definitely concentrates on definition, definitely concentrates on lexical definition. And I think that makes his personalism a step toward greater maturity within Boston personalism. So the large picture I think you need to keep in mind is Bown and Hocking come together for Brightman. Just got to remember that triad and you'll have the larger picture. Boston personalism, Harvard personalism come together to form Brightman's Christian personalism, because Brightman does take the structure of personalism and couples it with the Word, with living religion, and with the Word. And so that's why I inserted the Word here in this lesson, because I think we need to recognize this input that's going to so significantly add to the already profound position of Borden Parker Bown. No doubt about it, Borden Parker Bown posited a profound system of personalism at Boston University. Tremendous, powerful system. But W.E. Hocking is also a scholar select individual, and he offered the additional perspective on personalism of concepts with precise definition that raises them up to the notion of word. So keep all of that in mind as we go through these lessons. But that's going to take us through chapter 12. That takes us from page 45 to 87. And we're going to pick up next time with chapter 13.